Hi, Brad. Just wanted to wish you a happy 50th birthday. I know it's been a rough couple of years, but things have finally turned around for you. But you're no stranger to adversity. You really aren't. What a lot of people don't know is you had a lot of problems right after childbirth and for the first few years of your life. You see, when Brad's mom went into labor, she was at the hospital and she was pushing and pushing and pushing, and this baby wouldn't come out. Finally, the baby pops out, and the doctors are holding the baby, and they have this look of amazement, of astonishment, of bewilderment, of confusion on their faces. And they take the baby, and her mom looks across her belly and down at the doctors, and she's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with my baby?" And they said, no, there's nothing wrong. We just want to clean it up, run a few tests. It's normal. So they took you, and they took you to the other room, and they cleaned you up and everything. You remember this. And then they brought you back to your mom about 30 minutes later, and you're all wrapped up in a little blanket and everything. And she pulled you close to her chest, and she looked down at you and pulled the little covers back, and she saw your beautiful eyes and that little nose and those real puffy fat cheeks and those little lips, and she goes, "Oh my God, it's a beautiful baby. Is it a boy or is it a girl?" And she went and she peeled back the rest of the blanket, and there was nothing there. When you were born as just a head. Remember that? You were a head. That was it. And the mom just let out a scream. She goes, "Oh my God, it's just a head." And the doctors are like, "Calm down, calm down. It's going to be okay." We've never seen anything like this before. This is a living, viable, breathing baby head. It's a medical miracle. And it's fine. Everything we can tell, we've run tests and everything we know to run. And it's ahead, and it's doing okay. But we'd like it to stay in the hospital for at least a couple of weeks to see if it's going to be all right so you can take it home. So she says, "Okay, this is my baby. I will love my baby. I will care for my baby. This is the love of my life." And she held you at night, and you all slept together, and she nuzzled you to her breast. She took care of you. And about 2 weeks later, when it was time to go home, they brought in a crib, and they realized that wasn't going to work because they'd put you in the crib and you'd roll down to the bottom, and and then you'd roll down the bottom of the car seat and stuff. And finally, one of the medical staff people said, "I have an idea." So they came running back, and they had some blankets, and so they wrapped your head in these little blankets, made a little head there, and boom, put it inside of a bowling ball bag, because that turned out to be the best thing for you. Because after all, how else you going to carry around a baby head, you know? So she took you home, and they were so excited. The crib wasn't going to work, so they wound up taking a little bed that they got at PetSmart, a little cat bed, a little plaid-colored pet bed, had a little high wall, soft walls on it, and they kind of rested you in there, you know, and that kind of started your lifelong obsession with plaid because of the plaid on that, and so there you would sleep, you know, and they didn't really have a blanket. They just used a little washcloth, and they would pull it up and wrap you up and keep you warm. Sometimes they had to, you know, put a little padding on either side to keep you from rolling. But, you know, like, while a lot of parents were happy and excited to watch their baby take their first step, your parents were ecstatic when you rolled over for the first time, because, you know, what else you gonna do? You're just a baby head, you know. And they would bathe you in the sink. I'm sure you might remember that. Maybe there are pictures, you know, just your little head floating in the sink, you know, bobbing around, a little nose right above it, you know, it's just so cute. And the little foam, the little suds and everything. Sometimes the soap would get in your eyes, and so they got you those little swimmer goggles, and you kind of look like an Asian happy face. You were just a little head. And I think you had an uncle that came up with a better idea. He supersized one of those golf ball washers, you know, and so instead of the hole being this big, it was about the size of your head, and they kind of put your head in there and did this with it, and it cleaned you all up, and that was nice. And because how else you going to clean a little baby head, you know? Then eventually you were old enough and you wanted to go to school, and your mom was afraid to let you go to school, you know, but friends, family, they all said, "Hey, he's got a good head on his shoulder." Well, he's got a good head. If he had shoulders, he'd be a good head on his shoulders. But he's just a little baby head. So they let you go off to school. They brought you in the little bowling ball bag off to school, and that's how the Head Start program got started because of that. You wanted to ask questions, but you couldn't because you couldn't raise your hand because you didn't have a hand because you were just a head. But you did love, I don't know if you remember this, you did love Halloween. It was your favorite holiday. What they do is they take your little head and they put it in a big bowl and cover it up with candy. And then when the kids would come and open the door and say trick or treat, they'd hold the bowl out, they'd put their hands, and you would bite their fingers. And you just thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. But, you did great. You did great as just a baby head. But then your life changed forever. One afternoon, your mom got a phone call from the hospital because the doctors have been tracking you and keeping an eye on you, make sure you're okay. And they called her and they said, listen, a terrible accident has just happened. A small boy, which would probably be about the same age as Brad, was on his bike and he got hit by a car. And his body's fine, but he suffered severe brain damage. And, we know we can donate organs, but we really think with the advancements of modern medical science and drugs and therapies and everything, computers and all that stuff, we think we can transplant little Brad's head onto this little boy's body. And if it doesn't work, we know his head's viable, he'll be okay. I don't think we have anything to lose, the doctor said. Mom said, are you serious? He said, yes, we're serious. When do you want to get started? Doc said, bring him down now. We're ready to go. Let's do this. And maybe we could change his life, forever, again. So you were sleeping, taking a little afternoon nap in your little plaid cat bed, and your mom comes running up the stairs and opens the door and goes, Brad, wake up, Brad. And you're just there in your little cat bed, you got your little eyes closed and you got the little eye boogers, and you can't wipe them out because you don't have any fingers to do that, and your tongue wasn't long, so you had to clean those up. But I digress. But there you were sleeping, and you had the little cover right up over your nose, and then the little padding that keep your head from rolling back and forth in the cat little bed. And she says, Brad, wake up. And you kind of like opened your eyes, and you were groggy, and you looked up at her. She says, Brad, I've got the most wonderful news. I've got the most wonderful gift. I've got the most wonderful present you could ever ask for. And you remember this, don't you? You looked at her and said, excuse me, Brad, I've got the most wonderful present, the most wonderful gift for you. And tears were coming out of her eyes. And she said, what, Mommy? You said, what, Mommy? Mommy said, it's a miracle. It's the most wonderful present ever. And you just looked at her and said, not another fucking hat. Happy birthday, my little baby head.